Whoops. Wells Fargo did it again. Well, what do I mean? This is the weekly news update where we're gleaning all of our lender symposiums, the lender newsletters I subscribe to, and feedback and intel coming in from our students, our clients, etc. Well, you guys, this is about Wells Fargo, and Wells Fargo significantly shifting its lending model from personal to business. What do I mean by that? Well, if you guys will remember, it was a year and a half or so ago, maybe 2 years, where Wells Fargo basically cut off all direct applications. You couldn't walk into a Wells Fargo branch or go online and get a Wells Fargo auto loan. You had to go to a dealership, and the dealer would write a Wells Fargo auto loan. How do I know this? Because when we learned of it, when it was time to go through my refinance of my vehicle, I went to the dealership to buy it out of its lease, and I asked, using the boot camp, using our boot camp strategies, I asked the lender to pull a specific credit score from Wells Fargo. Because I wanted Wells Fargo. I have an awesome relationship with Wells Fargo. So I wanted Wells Fargo to carry my auto paper so I can continue to build that relationship. Well, I had to go to the dealership to do that. Wells Fargo, even my personal banker at the branch would not take the app. So that happened 18 plus months ago. Well, recently, within the last few months, they stopped issuing secured credit cards. They stopped taking applications for secured credit cards. They said that they would continue to graduate the current secured credit cards so that they would send your money upon the 6, 12, or 18 months. They would send you your money back. If you proved up, they would send you your money back, and now that card would be unsecured. Well, guess what they just did in the last couple of weeks? Notices have gone out to Wells Fargo credit line holders, and these are personal credit lines, not the business lines of credit. So they send out a notice, and one of our clients forwarded his notice to us saying that on August 23rd of this year, 2021, the credit line would be closed. Any remaining balance would be converted into a solid payment plan with a fixed rate, and it would become the equivalent of an installment loan. So why are they shutting down personal credit lines? Right now, they are going gangbusters on their personal credit cards, but personal credit cards and personal loans are the only credit instruments left on the inventory or inside of the offerings of Wells Fargo personal side. You can still originate a mortgage, but mortgages have always been a special case. But when it comes to unsecured credit, they are only doing personal credit cards. Credit lines are out, and personal loans, revolving credit, personal loans are, I'm going to guess, they haven't been hit yet, but if I were to wager, I'll bet you over the course of the next year or so, they might even terminate and stop offering personal loans. Now, why is this? Well, first of all, Wells Fargo has been a business bank for generations. It's offered tons, and it moved into offering personal credit instruments separate from the business credit instruments that had been known for from the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, right? And so it looks like they're returning to their roots. They are moving, and now none of my contacts at Wells Fargo could weigh in on this. They just see the policies coming down from higher up. So I'm going to be going to my contacts at FICO and see if there's somebody that they know at Wells Fargo that I can ask more questions about. But it looks like it's not, the answer isn't important. It just, we need to be flexible. That's why we have these news updates. We need to understand that our advisor team has all been grounded and clear that no more personal credit lines now are going to be available from Wells Fargo. Now, we do not recommend personal credit lines anyway, so this is not a loss for us for optimization purposes, because we've always deducted, if a client has a Wells Fargo tier 1 but has a credit line, it's an 80% credit instrument, because there's too much baggage with a credit line. They're too easy to use, which means the utilizations are going to ruin your personal fundability, et cetera, et cetera. We prefer a credit line, if you're going to have one, to have it on the business side. But more importantly, clearly more importantly, is that personal underwriting you still want to have. If you're going to have business lines of credit, we will ultimately want to have the personal relationship, either a checking account and or a personal credit card, so that we can leverage that internal performance data over onto the business side. And then they've got great, awesome credit lines and business loans on the business side. So that's the latest and greatest on Wells Fargo. And one of the things we need to remember is that if they continue, let's say they get rid of the personal loans, which are also unsecured, if they get rid of those personal loans, then it's likely to be mortgages and auto loans are still going to be secured, and then personal credit cards. But if they keep those loans, then notice their installment loan portfolio is still a strong offering. Right now, they're continuing to offer personal unsecured loans, auto loans through the dealership, and mortgages. All of those are still available at Wells Fargo. So this is Merrill Chandler, your connection to the wide and wonderful world of business and personal funding. Now, I want to wrap up one final thing. If you do have a Wells Fargo personal credit line, they're going to be closing it down. I don't know if every state, because remember, banks are state banks. They just have a federation of banks, a national association of banks, and that's why there's an NA after the in the brands, right? But in Utah, or excuse me, in Washington, D.C., it was August 23rd. So how do we leverage this? I mean, I'm giving this one to you for free. This is not just my clients. I want everybody to be able to take advantage of this. So I want you to like this, love this, share this, send this to your friends. Anybody who we don't know who has a credit line with Wells Fargo. So you need to get this out there, because this is a once in a generation opportunity. If they're going to close down a personal credit line, then you have the opportunity to, if you have a positive reputation with Wells Fargo, you have the opportunity to go to your banker and say, by the way, if you're killing my credit line on the personal side, would you be willing to open up that same amount on the business side? Because 80% of that decision, you guys, is based on your personal profile. So if you've maintained a positive relationship personally with Wells Fargo, and you've been using that personal credit line well, then there may be a good chance of being able to ask the business banker, hey, they're closing my business line down. I mean, my personal line down. Can we open up a new line, same limit, same amount, same everything, in the name of one of your businesses? Guys, crazy opportunity to get a business line of credit that doesn't report to your personal, because Wells Fargo, we know, doesn't report to personal, instead of a kludgy and bad for you personal line of credit. Use this opportunity, guys, to get that done. Share this with everybody you can, so that we can get to all the folks who may have Wells Fargo lines. This is Merrill Chandler, your hookup to the fundable universe, and it's a pleasure always keeping you up to date on every one of these, on every one of the movements that we are seeing and are coming to us in the banker universe. Have a wonderful day.